helpful for you, because it's going to help you chip away at those negative beliefs that you have picked up over time, which tell you that it is impossible for you to become successful, happy, or free of your current problems. Now, if you have some experience in self-improvement, but you find yourself getting stuck often, you find yourself dealing with the same problem over and over again, not quite sure how to get through it, this is when you should rely on books extremely heavily compared to videos. Books, by their nature, are much more comprehensive and much more well-researched than just about any single self-improvement YouTube video out there. And that's why you should take them as your main source of wisdom or actual information surrounding the techniques and practices that you yourself deem valuable. One of the main traps that self-improvement YouTubers fall into is that as they get better and better, as they experience success in more and more areas, a lot of times they fall into the trap of misattributing the reasons that they got there. This is the same concept as someone who is extremely fit naturally and extremely good at putting on muscle, not really being able to explain to you exactly how they did it. Meanwhile, there is someone maybe who struggled significantly in the beginning and figured out the absolute best method because for them that was necessary to make the progress that the first candidate made by default. Now, this isn't to try and take away success from anyone. Hamza, as an example, rised above, in my opinion, pretty incredible things to get to the place where he is today, and he has learnt a whole lot. But what I think you should do if you want to become like Hamza is go directly to his influences rather than just watching his videos. So for example, on his channel, he has a video where he outlines every single book that he had read up to that point. It's quite a lot of books, right? And you may say, well, I don't want to buy all of these books, so I'm just going to watch his summary of it. Now, the summaries will be helpful, but again, the full books are going to be better. I've watched summaries, I've watched different things on specific topics, and I've always found that a single book, a single well-written book on one topic gives me more value than every YouTube video I've watched on that same topic combined. I can give the example of The Way of the Superior Man by David Dida. This book has taught me more about women, masculinity, facing death, all kinds of different things related to the main topic of the book, which is how to live a superior life to what you are living now as a man. This book has single-handedly given me more value than every single YouTube video I've ever watched about masculinity, women, dating, etc. Now, it's not some landslide victory. I've gained a lot of value from both, but it is undoubtedly higher in the book. The book is also more applicable to my daily life than the vast majority of YouTube videos I've watched, and you will find even on my channel, the best thing that you can possibly do for yourself if you're at that stage is go and look at the influences that have led me to where I am rather than just taking it out of my mouth. Because there are undoubtedly reasons that I've gotten to the point where I'm at that I don't fully understand. And that is simply being on the back of superior wisdom than my own. And by me making these videos, what I'm basically hoping you'll do for your own sake is get to the point where you have a level of intrinsic motivation to do something that is positive for you, right? This is basically self-love. Once you have this level of intrinsic motivation, the absolute best thing you can do is trust yourself and venture out into your own world to find the books, to find the information, to do the research that is going to lead you to a fantastic life and is going to lead you to fulfillment, success, and all the lovely things like that. So ultimately, this channel is essentially a book review channel because basically what I'm doing is I'm reading books, I'm testing things, and then I'm coming here to talk about what worked for me and what didn't work for me. And that's basically me just distilling down the wisdom inside of a book, probably misrepresenting a few things, but still getting good results because of the fact that I've read the book myself. Now, when it comes to choosing what book you should read, it can be a bit difficult because there seems like so many good options. And this is true. There are a lot of fantastic options. But what I would say is that look at your life and think about what causes you the most pain. What is the biggest net negative on your current life, your success, in whatever area you want to cover, right? Figure that out, and that'll lead you to the book that'll make the biggest difference for your current problem. So the book that I'm currently reading is an amazing book by Maxwell Maltz, Psycho-Cybernetics. Now, the entire point of this book is to discuss and teach you how to change your self-image through various exercises, visualizations, and essentially how your body and mind actually work to accomplish goals so that you can optimize to make use of what the book refers to as your creative success mechanism, or your servo mechanism, which is basically your mind and body. Now, this book is extremely useful for me right now because over my 3 years-ish of self-improvement, the biggest realization that I'm coming to currently that I'm busy dealing with by reading this book is that the largest problem standing in my way is my negative self-image. Now, there are a lot of things that I've done up to this point to learn that, and so none of that was a waste, right? But as soon as I realized that this is kind of my core problem right now, this is the biggest thing that's causing me problems, I realized that the action that I should take to most optimize my journey is to learn specifically about that. I'm going to read an entire book on how to influence my self-image and change my belief systems so that I can solve that specific problem. Now, again, even just what I've read from this book so far has made a bigger impact than all of the videos that I've watched about self-image up until this point. And it's not because those videos are bad, it's because the main purpose of those videos is not to actually give you all of the wisdom. It's to show you that someone else has read the book and someone else has reached success with it. Therefore, you might be able to as well. So, to wrap this up, I'm going to talk about practical steps. Find the book that applies most to your current problems, and the best way to do this is to watch book summaries, ironically enough. So go and look at summaries of certain books and see what resonates. See what feels like it's going to solve the most amount of trouble that you're currently facing. Once you do that, buy the book. I will say though, I highly recommend paperback over an audiobook. Now, an audiobook is still incredibly valuable, but one of the ways that a real physical book is better than an audiobook is that a real physical book allows you to take in information through multiple senses rather than just your hearing. You get to see the actual words, and you will then repeat the words to yourself as you process the information with the little voice in your head. That voice is an actual physical process inside of your vocal cords. And so essentially what happens is that you read and then you repeat it to yourself as you see it. So you essentially hear it and read it at the same time effectively. But when you listen to an audiobook, it's not necessarily the same. It's a lot easier to just focus on the voice that's coming in, and it doesn't really engage thought the same way that reading does, in my opinion. That being said, an audiobook can still be extremely valuable, and one of the most prevalent audiobooks I think I've ever listened to was the audiobook The Way of the Superior Man by David Eder, which I would highly recommend anyway. So whether you buy the physical book or the audiobook, both are going to be extremely valuable, but I would still recommend the physical book over the audiobook. That being said, if you're the kind of person you feel like it's going to be easier for you to actually get through the information by listening to it while you do dishes or while you find something else like that, that's perfectly fine as well. Then buy the audiobook and you will still get fantastic results by listening to it. So, in conclusion, self-improvement YouTube videos and books are both extremely useful, but for different things. And if you want the best results, you just have to understand what the point of both is. Now that you have this understanding, use this video as your external motivation to follow through on that action that you know you should do, that you know will be good for you. Go and buy that book, meditate, journal, etc. Okay, I'll see you next time, you bastards.